Bam! What is up with the squad? It's Sess, your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies in the building. Y'all know what it is. It's PoliSports tea time. Cess Talk Sports in the BWISE PoliSports podcast. Political Lil, my brilliant co-host in the building.
Yep.
What's happening?
What's going on?
Y'all seen that we dropped the video. If you haven't had a chance to check out the video, the politics and reputation in sports business, check that out because we're gonna have a conversation about it now. Marvin, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up, fam. America Cup is gonna be awesome. Looking forward to that. We're gonna do some talking on that too. But on my next basketball show today, right now we're gonna get into the politics of things. We're gonna jump right in it. Coming in, y'all hit the like and the share because they both right there. And I need 5 of y'all to share this thing out and then share it in the chat. Let me know that y'all shared it out there. Let them know we in here talking. So let's get into it. We appreciate, let me say first, we appreciate the response to the videos. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate y'all helping us push the conversation forward and push back on narratives that are taken away from what makes women's basketball great. And everything that's taken away from just the beauty of the game. So we appreciate y'all showing up and rocking out with us. Hit the like and the share because they both right there. And let's lock in because this evening's combo it ain't just about what's happening on the court. This isn't a basketball on the court conversation. It's about what's going down behind the scenes. This ain't just hoops. It's power plays, politics, and the reputation games franchises love to play. Front and center at this mess, the Chicago Sky. Y'all knew that's what we was coming up here to talk about. Front and center is the Chicago Sky. Let's call it what it is. Reputation is capital, y'all. Reputation is capital in this league, in this era. How folks perceive you determines who signs, who stays, and who don't even return your call. I don't care what business you in. Loretta, what's good? I don't care what business you in. Hey, basketball or being a janitor. Your reputation always precedes you. Who signs, who stays, who don't even return your call. Right now, the Sky's rep ain't just taking a hit. It's in full-blown identity crisis. They ain't crisis over there, Lil. The brand is overdrawn and underwater, and everybody in the Dubs ecosystem can smell the smoke. It's a fire over there, and we can tell. Instead of building a legacy on wins, player development, or even a clear vision for the future, the Sky built theirs on control. That will tell the story for you type of energy. Coaches get cycled like IG stories. Players speak up, boom, under the bus. They ain't cultivating culture. They're cloning chaos. They cloning chaos, y'all. And now that spotlight is blazing. It's on fire right now on Chicago. They doing what too many failing franchises do, and that's blame the rookie. Blame the young player. Shift the narrative. Use misdirection. But let's not play dumb. And this started with Angel Reese last season, but this didn't really start with Angel Reese. The Sky been fumbling the bag on leadership before Angel was even in the league, y'all. And the game is evolving, Lil. Players got platforms. They got brands. They got other people they got to answer to. Fans got receipts. But the Sky, they still moving like it's 2008 and X ain't real. Until they clean house at the top, y'all. I keep saying this. Y'all probably gonna get tired of me saying it. Until they clean house at the top, no amount of fresh talent on the roster is gonna save them. And that's on legacy, not potential. So let's get into it, Lil. How you doing?
Oh, doing all right. Glad to be here, and thanks for everyone checking in and checking us out.
Absolutely. And when we so let's get into it. When we talk about the politics and reputation, how is the Chicago Sky public image, especially because you're right there in Chicago? You're living it. You know what I'm saying in real life, as they say, right? IRL. How has their public image been shaped by media narratives and front office decisions? And then who's really paying the price for that reputation right now?
The Sky public image isn't just damaged. It seems like it's been outsourced. You know, the front office has failed to control the narrative. They allow national media to frame the team as chaotic and mismanaged. And instead of stepping in to defend and support their players, especially the young black stars like Angel Reese, leadership stays silent. Or worse, they feed into the narrative through passive-aggressive leaks and mixed messaging. So now the cost is being paid by the athletes. Black women are being villainized for problems rooted in executive dysfunction. And that's not just bad PR. That's like reputational warfare. And the players are actually the collateral damage.
Not only that, when you were saying that, you know what it made me think about? It made me think about the cost that the city have to play. The cost that the city pays for the mismanagement. Less people coming. That's less money in tourism. That's less people in the hotels. That's less people out at night after the game. That's less. It's taken away from everything that should be bringing something for the city to come together and everybody eat off of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso should be feeding families on a regular basis in Chicago. They should be feeding families on a regular basis in Chicago. Instead, we got this mess we dealing with all the time. And Angel Reese is being scapegoated in light instead of us shining a light on the organizational missteps that they had since when were they in 2006 or something?
2006.
They've been messing this up forever. So how is the Chicago Skies branded? And y'all jump in the conversation in the chat too. How is the Chicago Skies branded, both on and off the court, impacting their ability to attract sponsors, fill seats, and recruit elite talent? How does that perception affect the business side of sports for them?
Well, see, they don't have they like a franchise without identity, and that doesn't give you much leverage. You know, they just not losing games; they're losing buy-in from key stakeholders. You know, sponsors don't want to invest in instability, and you all know how corporations roll. And then fans, they're not gonna pack the arena for dysfunction. High-level elite players, they're not gonna come to a team where the locker room drama is louder than what's going on the court. And to me, the Sky brand feels it's more reaction than visionary, you know. And we in a NBA. I mean, the WNBA is really at a growth point where you should be, you know, having a vision, more of an imagination, and they don't have either. They just got a narrative for, you know, being cheap, cheesy, messing over their players, and that's gonna turn out to be fatal for them in the long run. You know, they've been running it a long time, but like anything, you eventually gonna play out, you gonna be out. You know. Yep.
That makes me think about all of the talent that they've had come through Chicago, right? All of this talent that they had come through, and I know people are like, "Yo, what if Kennedy Carter was still there?" Right? And I get if Ken was still there, what would it look like? But it made me think about, especially because just when they were just talking to Phoenix, right? Phoenix just played in Chicago. They asked Kai Copper about Chicago every year. Kalia Copper loves Chicago. What if it was Kalia Copper, right? I know it's nice because we seen Kennedy there, but what if they had been the type of organization that had nurtured and had been able to give, you know, Copper looked like she got the Phoenix and was like, at least I got a pregame meal now. Right? Y'all go back. I don't make that up. And I don't take that lightly, because think about that. Especially when you're coming from a college program where all of that stuff is taken care of, right? I won a national, I'm not even a national championship. I won a WNBA championship at this organization, and we don't have a plan for a pregame meal.
Yeah,
There's something is mismanaged here. But think about that. You got a Kai Copper and an Angel Reese and a Camila Cardoso. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, but they got there because the trade for Kai. Imagine, if you will, people. If they had managed that organization in a way that you could have had a star like a Kai Copper already there, and then brought in a Camila Cardoso and an Angel Reese and built around that, or you were able to keep a Vandersloot there because she didn't want to leave and go anywhere because you had treated her right after, came back and won a championship there, right? If you had kept this talent there, so the mismanagement is almost sickening. It's almost sickening. You could have had Kai Copper out there with Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. That ain't a core three that you would have to, that would have to be rival. That ain't a core three that you could stand up with any other core three out here. So I don't know. They've done such a disservice to the city and the fans, period. But do you think the Sky's leadership is more focused on control than building a culture, and what's going to be the long-term cost of taking that approach?
Hey, it seems like to me that this front office is playing from an old playbook, and it's more like a plantation playbook. Tight control, rigid hierarchy, and no kind of transparency. You go over there, try to get answers. You know, these reporters have reported that they'll do things and then duck. You know, duck and dodge where you can't even get no kind of answer. But see, this is the modern WNBA, and it's about culture building, not command and control. And you look at teams like the Liberty, the Ace, teams are thriving, and they're partnering with their players. The Sky treat their players like they property, commodities, simply disposable. After you done chopped enough sugar cane, you know, you can go. And it does. There's no respect to person. No respect to person. It has been at least 4 Hall of Famers have come through Chicago, and they were ceremoniously dismissed, just like they're trying to set Angel up to be scapegoated and dismissed.
Think if you got Elena Deladon. Now think about this. Think about this, Lil. Elena Deladon was so mad at the Washington Mystics that she was like, trade me. Remember? Trade me. I don't want to be here. To the point where they was like, we're not going to trade you. And she was like, that's okay. I'm going to go home. But she wasn't mad enough at them not to come back and sit in the front office when they cleaned house.
Mm-hmm.
Angel said, it's different here to Gabby. Gabby said, all right, we can play somewhere else. Pick another organization. Not that one. Not that one. Kai Copper said it ain't a better summer. It ain't a better place in the summer than Chicago. I love it. It got my heart. I grew up here. There's no way Kai Copper leaves Chicago if they treat her right. Meanwhile, somebody that's in Chicago, let me know, did they break ground on the facility yet?
They broke ground, but they ain't broke no bricks. You know, and you go get the little shovel, pull up the little dirt.
I ain't talking about the ribbon cutting. I'm talking about, y'all. Come on now, we grown ups. Y'all know how stuff go when they gonna build something in the neighborhood. They come out there and they put them little orange flags and them yellow flags, gas line, water line. They come out, they spray that X where they gonna come and put that jackhammer and bust that thing over. Like, come on now, talk to me for real. Has any of that happened? Have they marked anything off? Meanwhile, they're telling you that they're going to build a beautiful, gorgeous facility next to the facility that they should need to be seeing if they can get a membership up to have some practice.
Exactly. I don't understand why they didn't move.
It didn't make no sense to me. It didn't make no sense to me.
That place is gorgeous.
They won't even let y'all practice in there when they not there. What does that say about y'all? If they won't even let you practice there when they not there, they was like, nah, move around. See what they doing at the Y on Sundays. We ain't got it over here. Y'all, I mean, like they treating the Chicago style like they'll clean up after themselves or something. They'll like build your own over there. So I don't know.
And then I'm gonna tell you another thing that was surprising too, Seth. And I don't know why they would let it get out that they couldn't get a loan for the facility when the building, the actual property, is the collateral. I just never heard of somebody being in commercial real estate and not having the kind of connections where he could walk in a bank and get $40 million.
Lil, you just said, hey, give us some money for this property right here. We want to build something. And if we don't pay it back, you can have the land and everything we build on it. Exactly. And nobody took the deal. I just wanted to break it down. In case people missed what you said. And nobody would take the deal. Man, they must be a bad paymaster or something. Well, that only got out political because of the Twitter fan that went digging. Oh, okay, yeah. See, but we just said fans got receipts. Let's go.
And that's coming out in media articles and stuff. That's not something that should be. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. They connected to Ariel Finance. It's a black financial company here in the city. She married to the owner. One of the owners married to the guy from Star Wars that created the Star Wars franchise. And y'all can't scramble up some money. It just something ain't right. Reputation. And that's the only thing I can think of. You either done stiff somebody before. I don't know what's happening there, but there should not have been a delay in that facility because unless I had the money to build that facility, I would not have announced that I was building a facility. Now you out here, you looking like,
You know what you looking like? Emperor with no clothes. You thought you went and bought a nice suit. You thought you already looking good. Ass out everywhere. All over the city. Ass out all over the city. You ain't even know it. As my uncle would say. Emperor with no clothes. You think you looking good. Oh, I'm out here, man, ass out all over the city. Quit playing. But before we because people are so quick to throw the shade at these players.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look at real legacy here, because it's not about one game. It's not about one or two players. It's not about one headline. And so even though this conversation is coming on the heels of those articles coming out, right, and on the heels of them losing these games, I think they lost 3 in a row, and the next 30 days look nasty. Okay, the next 30 days look nasty. So this ain't about one game. This ain't about one thing they said about Angel. So we're not gonna drill it down to that. Let's zoom out. Let's just talk about the Chicago franchise. Because if we keep it a buck, it's not like they didn't fall out. They've been shaky from the jump. When they got their championship, it was like, oh, Chicago Sky is the champ. Oh, wait a minute. Was that the Sky? Okay, the Sky. Okay, well, Candace was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you run it back real quick, when they entered in 2006, they didn't have no stacked roster, no superstar pedigree, but they had some hoopers. Candace Dupree, Sylvia Fowles, Courtney Vandersloot. The city had something to root for. But what else came with it? Immediately, chaos came with it. No consistency. Coaches, GMs getting swapped out like they in a group chat with bad Wi-Fi. 7 straight years of no playoffs. 7 straight years of no playoffs. That ain't a slow build. It's the same thing we talking about right now. Identity crisis. Then boom, James Wade entered the chat, and he seen all the chaos and was like, "Hey, listen," and I'm gonna give him his flowers, because within all of this chaos, voila, a championship appeared. Now I don't know what happened after all of that, but 2021 title run, go back and watch it. Classic, and a lot of that is Candace, but a lot of that is Kalia Copper, and people forget Kai Copper is the Finals MVP that year.
Right, exactly.
Even with Candace Parker. Now let that sink in, like. Kai Copper is that deal. Y'all gonna see. Keep watching Phoenix. She getting them good pre-game meals now. She finna show you. But just as quick as James came in, he came in clutch. It was like, oh, I'm out. He was like, whoo, I'm out. And he left them scrambling, players guessing. And I guess players got there and felt like they were gonna be with James. They came to be with James, not to be with the organization. And I think that's one of their main problems, is they're selling people on people and not selling people on the organization. So, but ever since then, they've been wilding, Lil. Some of the worst roster management we've seen in recent history. They had a blueprint. Watch this. Burnt it up. They didn't forget everything they did in 2021. 2024, more turnover. They brought in Teaspoon, one of the few black women holding it down in a head coach seat, and then they cut her off. No patience, no plan, vibes, damage control. They used her, though. They used her. And here we go again to 2025. Tyler Marsh at the helm. Sky ain't won. Had they won 3 games yet?
Yeah, they 3-9, 3-10.
3-9. And folks already aiming that blame cannon at the skyscrapers. Like they built this mess. But the instability is generational in this. It's not a bad season. This is a franchise that's been trying to bubblegum and duct tape its way to relevance for like 2 decades. So when we talk about reputations, what I'm trying to say is, like, we're talking about who been holding the pen. It ain't bad luck. This is the Sky signature move. This is how they move. This Chicago Sky in action. Victory Taylor, thank you so much for the super chat, fam. Hold on. I was not ready. My bad. Appreciate the support, fam. Appreciate the support. Y'all hit them likes, run them up. Phoenix, any chance of what's going on with Bonner? Any chance of what's going on with Bonner? I just got here in the chat. No idea what's going on with Bonner. It could have been a distraction because of all the backlash from organizations got from Teaspoon and Kennedy, and the fact that their franchise player is pissed. You gotta tell me what you mean there. They beat the Wings twice and the Sun once. Okay, yeah, three wins. But for those of y'all that are Chicago Sky fans, especially, when you look out over the next 30 days, how many wins do you really see them get? Matter of fact, we ain't even got to look at over the first 30 days. Let's look at the games that Camilla will be out, and you tell me how many of those games y'all got them winning. Oh, Phoenix ain't no sleeper no more. Eyes wide open. Eyes wide open right now. Oh, the facility. I got you, Dollar Chef. They may beat the Sparks. I don't think they'll beat the Sparks twice. I got them splitting with the Sparks. It's not looking good at all. But it don't have to look like that. And so, Lil, when a franchise like the Sky has a track record of this type of instability, how much of that blame should fall on the players? How much belongs to the leadership?
That's leadership, first and foremost. Because the players don't hire the coaches. They don't set the team culture. And they don't decide what leaks out to the media. When you see the same chaos repeated across seasons and regimes, it ain't about no individual player. That's a systemic failure from the top down. And the blame always trickle down to the athletes, especially black women who stand up and speak out. But instability, that's a leadership problem. You can't, they try to dress it up as a locker room issue. But that's the people running that so-called front office.
And Angel's leadership can't overcome the front office, the problem with the front office leaderships. She can't lead you from there through what this organization's issue is. She's not gonna be able to do that. And she shouldn't be asked to though. She shouldn't be asked to. It's mostly leadership. What am I feeling about Washington? What I'm feeling about Washington? Oh gosh, let me tell you real quick. I'm gonna tell you because this ties right in. I'm glad you asked. I feel like Washington pulled off a robbery in Chicago. A robbery in Chicago in front of everybody's eyes. Now, how the hell Sidney Johnson over there, and I think he took 3 people. Yeah, heist, right? In front of everybody. I think four people from Chicago's over in Washington right now.
Mm-hmm.
They looking like, whoo, we escaped. Like they got out when they had a chance. They over there like, whew, dodge the bullet. They over there with the young talent, Elena Deladon in the front office trying to help out and figuring things out. And Washington was on my list last year because of the nepotism that was going on over there.
Mm-hmm. With the father-son combo, yeah.
Yeah. My thing is, when there's no order on the court, no gameplay, players get hurt trying to make something happen because of their passion to want to win. I agree with that too. A heist. They almost beat the Dream Friday. Almost don't count. It ain't no, it's wins, losses. It ain't no almostes. Wins, losses. It's no almostes. Ain't none of it. Listen, I'm not a participation trophy type of person. I'm not a we coulda, shoulda, woulda. I'm not a moral victory. Did you win or did you not? Wins, losses, no almostes. Got it? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And so the moral victories, that's good. Take it back. 1, 2, 3. Go us and practice with that. But as far as what took place at the game, they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They lost. When they ask you, well, we almost won. That means you lost. Yeah. Cue up Brandy. Almost doesn't count. And that was one off of one of my favorite Brandy albums. Absolutely. But and I guess, and my other thing too, credibility meter is with the almost. This is the organization that was the last champion before New York and Chicago. I mean, before New York and Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like they ain't never won a championship. It ain't like they 40 years away from winning a championship. They 4 years away from winning the championship. How the hell did it get this bad in 4 years?
Yeah. From that championship to a bit of facility and plenty of stability.
Over the last 2 seasons, have the Sky made any good trades? Hell no. No, Millie. Not the one that I could think of. Not the one that I could think of. Now, people will say, oh, it was good to trade the Buck that got Camilla and Angel there. Okay. What did you give up to get that though? Kai Copper, what else? It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Courtney Williams, the young lady Smith that plays for Minnesota. I think all of them was involved in that trade.
Let me tell you, picks. Yeah. Sports FN 24. So yeah, Jeff needs to hire a talent scout to find the better guards. Here's the thing. This is Jeff's second season in. If he still hasn't figured that out, Jeff's not the man for the job. Mm-hmm. See, one of the things about being able to come in and be successful at what you are is being able to be at your role is being able to delegate what you can delegate, being able to understand your limitations, and being able to keep your main thing the main thing. If you do what you do good and surround yourself with SMEs, subject matter experts, stuff work out better. I can't think of one person in the Chicago Sky organization that has some experience winning a championship in the WNBA at the top of their organization. And if I'm forgetting somebody, tell me. Tell me. Who has any basketball operations knowledge? Not only do they need a talent scout, they need somebody that knows basketball operations. Is the Aces back on track? The jury's out on that. we working our way back. But we got some explaining to do too. We got work to do. So I don't doubt that. Let me tell y'all something. One thing I don't bet against is I don't bet against a Gamecock. Another thing I don't bet against is Angel Reese's motor to want to win. Will they get one or two upsets just on sheer because I want to, because on sheer just because I'm a dog, on sheer just because I'm gonna go drop a trip dub to get it done? Yes. Will that be able to happen consistently? No. Part of the reason is because it's not sustainable and it's unfair to ask Angel and Camilla and them to have to play that much to be able to get it done. But they don't have a bench that can sustain as they're currently constructed right now, and they don't have shit to trade to get anything to be sustainable. And then the other part of that is, will the rotations be right for them to be able to do it? Too many years. Too many years. But do you think the firing of Teresa Weatherspoon was just poor management or part of a larger trend of how Black women are treated in coaching positions?
Actually, it's both.
Let's talk about it.
Y'all
let me know what y'all think about Teresa Weatherspoon getting fired too. Let's go.
She got caught up in the crosshairs of a dysfunctional system. And we look at the broader pattern, you see that across sports. When Black women in coaching, often they get the job with fewer resources, they have shorter grace periods, and they don't have the organizational support. Then when things go sideways, they're the first blame and the first fire. And Teaspoon wasn't just trying to coach a team. She was fighting an uphill battle in a league that still hasn't figured out how to invest in Black women as, in leadership positions. She's certainly in her first rollout, because you all got to remember, no one wanted the job when they called Teresa Weatherspoon.
Two applications.
No one.
2 applications.
And she didn't want the job. The first person didn't want the job. And they called Teaspoon another Black woman. So you got this sister girl thing going on. And we're going to build this. And this is a Black woman ownership thing. And blah, blah, blah. I sold her a bill of goods. I will never, ever forgive that woman, Nadia, for turning around and doing that to Teresa. And then allowing Jeff to try to, beat up on her in the press and get people turned against her stuff. That was just a sorry culmination of events. I'm sorry that happened to her, and she was deeply hurt.
And I'm not gonna the credibility meter. I'm not gonna let you come in here and basically shit on her credibility like that. Talking about she lost the veterans on the team and they was chasing doubles rather than wins. I'm not taking that. And the reason why I'm not gonna take that is because through all of the bullshit that took place in Chicago, let's run it back. Sorry, Lil. This type of stuff
right
irritates me. This type of stuff irritates me, and I push back on these narratives because it's bullshit, right? So Teaspoon came into a job where they let her pick who she wanted on her team. She came in, and the WNBA said, based on how they look on paper, based on who they are, they're going to be last in the league. Last in the league. They didn't play like they was going to be last in the league. They came in and got fired up and got behind Teaspoon. Lost the locker room. Marina Mayberry had to go. But Marina Mayberry didn't go, and Marina Mayberry came back and told y'all it wasn't no problem with me and Angel.
Yeah.
The people came back and told y'all all of the bullshit narratives that people tried to say, hey, it was a problem. They didn't get along. They was jealous. They was this. They was that. It wasn't that. Marina Mayberry said, it ain't no way. I don't care even at $249,000 that I'm going to be the face of this bullshit because all I want to do is hoop. And you can tell the way Marina Mayberry take care of her players. I'm not even a fan, but I'm watching her. I got to put some respect on her name, right? Marina Mayberry is like, I just want to hoop. If I stay here as the vet here, as the way this thing is currently constructed, I'm the one that got to sit in front of this microphone and answer for some bullshit that I can't control. And I ain't going for it.
Yeah.
And I ain't going for it. So I want to trade. And she asked for the beginning of the season. Dana Evans asked too. Then they said, what? Okay, we didn't find nothing for you. We're going to see. So then, and I don't even know if they'd have went, if they'd have been 6. But now the season starts. Elizabeth Williams get hurt. That made Camila Cardoso have to start. Camila Cardoso was coming back off an injury too. She ain't never been injured before. I don't know that Camila's shoulder is 100% right now. But Camila ended up having to come back and play and start as a rookie with no veteran now in front of her. No veteran really even in the building because E. Will is what? Rehab. Then you got Angel starting as a rookie. Only team started 2 rookies last year. Kennedy Carter was on the bench, and as soon as they got her off the bench and kind of got her in the game, and they figured that out, now Chicago making some noise. They were in the conversation to get to the playoffs until within 1 or 2 days of the season closing. So I'm not gonna let you come here and be like she lost the veterans on the team through all of the chaos and the bullshit, with no moves being made by the front office, with them trading Marina Mayberry and bringing in 2 players that couldn't even get up off the bench because they was hurt. So we traded away somebody who was at least taking a dribbling ass out there for somebody who can't do nothing, right? And still, until the end of the season, was in the conversation for the playoffs. So miss me with that lost. That's bullshit narrative. Without injury last year, you say the Sky would have been at least 6. I say they was without the injury maybe, but even with the injury, they wasn't out the playoffs until the 12th hour. Consistently criticized. No, it was no support. Nobody came and said, hey, lay off Teresa, she doing a good job. Nobody came out and said, but they all took their ass to the All-Star party, didn't they? Teresa didn't even get to go to that. They were like, you stay back and work. They treated her like someone Cinderella. Now you stay here and work. They all got dressed up and went to the ball. Ain't did shit to earn a right to the ball. Nothing. Ain't did a basketball, nothing. But they at the party. Miss me with that, y'all. Miss me with that. You can say Mayberry was trash in the clutch 4th quarter. You can say all of that, whatever you want to say. Mayberry's role is to score. Whatever it is you think about what Mayberry was in the 4th quarter, and possibly Mayberry had checked out in Chicago. But if you look at Marina Mayberry right now, tell me that she couldn't help Chicago right now if she wanted to be there.
But you got to think about this too, Cess. You look at where Chicago was July 16 when they played the Aces. They went down.
Better believe that shit.
They balled out, and you had a lot of hope that, coming back off the All-Star break, oh, we got something here. And then suddenly they traded Mayberry, and everything just cascaded down from there. Whether she wanted to trade or not, Jeff saw that team was being successful. That's why I said the plot was already in. He saw that team headed towards success, and he was determined to break it up so that he could get his fingerprints on the team. Well, you got your fingerprints on them now, and you try to pass that down.
I'm telling y'all
to the next person.
I'm telling y'all. See people trying to downplay it now, but the double has become more important to Sky fans than winning. No, it's not. I don't know where you talk basketball at credibility meter. But I'm over here about championships. I don't give a goddamn about a record because they write them in pencil, but them get erased. So I don't know who you talk basketball with, but I don't give a damn about the double doubles. That's nice. That's on her resume. That's something that she can say she did. But the bottom line is about winning. But here's the thing: when you didn't have an organization playing in your face for 20 years, how much winning do they got to do before you believe them? And I say that being here in Detroit, because I remember coming here in 2015 and being like, hey, the Detroit Lions not trash, y'all. And Detroiters was like, stick around long enough. They ain't broke your heart. It took 8 years. But I did not stop saying that. The Detroit Lions ain't trash, y'all. It took 8 years for the city and the people that I know that's been here for their life to be like, okay, I'm going to go get me a new Lions shirt now. I'm trusting them now. But it took 8 years to see them consistently stacking up wins, building towards the playoffs before they would buy back in. This 20 years of them playing in their face.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gotta like each other to do their job. Hell no. How many coworkers you don't like? How many people you was on the way to work today? If that bitch say something to me today, I'm gonna smack this shit out. How many? How many of y'all was on the way to work today? Oh, let her say something to me today. Better not come to my desk and ask me nothing. Always want me to help her explain. Think about it. But you gonna come in there and do your job and go on home, punch your clock, and move on around. Double doubles are never the game plan, but the end result of a game well played. Exactly. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Even when Angel prioritizes a win over a double double, cut that narrative out. Benji, come on. The disrespect of the WNBA is appalling, but making a breakthrough is never easy. What do you mean the disrespect for the WNBA? Let me know. Oh, WNBA Detroit girl was tough. Who you talking about? The shot. Let me know what you're talking about. From your lens though, Lil, what role does reputation maintenance play in how these decisions get spun in the public?
You know what? When you think about reputation,
What up, MJ?
And trying to manage reputation, that's like a hidden playbook. You know, some of these teams are just not making moves; they shaping narratives too. And so, you know, when someone gets fired, they kick in the PR machine in order to protect the franchise image. You know, they frame this as it's for the best. We're moving in a new direction. You know, that's all narrative spin and BS. You know, they plant the seed of doubt about coaches' leadership or a player's attitude in that case. And when the person gets thrown under the bus, it's always a high-profile black woman, and it becomes a strategy. You know, it's about keeping sponsors calm, trying to keep the brand clean. In the meantime, you distorting the truth and BS and, you know, gaslighting the fans and pushing them, and they so brainwashed. They believe because you're an organization, you couldn't possibly be the one in the wrong. And so when you shift that blame onto the player, you a lot of times have fans, you know, that follow that. It's really not fair because they refuse to just sit back and think, well, hold on a minute. You know, you expected this player to do something and she don't have control of the purse string. Or she can't, you know, bring in certain players. You know, they took Reese to that. They went to that All-Star game, took her in a back room and completely gassed her up. Had her coming out talking about she the junior GM and all this kind of stuff. I know that she was being fed a lot of bullshit. Oh, yeah, we're going to let you do this. We're going to let you do that. And blah, 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 bloom. Nah. Soon as it looked like she moving that way, oh, well, I'm asking players to come to Chicago and blah, 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 bloom. That control thing hit in. That narcissist thing hit in. I'm the one in control. You know.
Well, it ain't even about the. So to me, is it even about the control or is it about the credit? To be able to say, I did. I bought the players. I did this. I did that. Now, maybe that's part of control too.
I think it's more so control in saying that you're a commodity. You're not a partner.
Gotcha. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? In other words, it's like the master ain't coming down there asking the slave, what he think about the sugarcane prices and how much, it need to be chopped. They just see you as a tool, and that's it. If she's a tool that could attract what they want, they'll use her to do that. And what she did was she attracted a way to get them ticket prices up.
Exactly.
And bring in a few sponsors. So in that way she became just a commodity they could use. They really care about what you talking about. No, not at all. Not this particular franchise, because they're not looking for partners. They treat you like you property.
The GM usually get 2 coaches before they get fired. Oh well, you and Tyler can pack it up together if that's what you want. Taiwan Eagle, you said it's called building a team. What do you mean? What's called building a team? And everybody's like, Jeff and Teaspoon never saw eye to eye. Teaspoon wasn't Jeff's pick. I don't, they hired Teaspoon, then they brought in Jeff. If I remember correctly, is that how it went?
Listen, one more time. Jeff been with the organization for years. Ain't nobody brought him in nowhere. He was a coach on the team, on the bench. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nadia was playing the position of both general manager and head of the operations. She's like the chairwoman of the board and all this kind of carrying on. When they couldn't get nobody, she picked up the phone so they wouldn't be coachless and called Teresa in, trying to keep Kalia Copper. Now, I don't want to hear about that BS. Well, Jeff, he got hired afterwards. So they already knew they was going to hire Jeff.
He knew he was going to get promoted. It was like, hey, get the coach, and then you're going to be the GM. Basically, it's kind of what we're saying.
He knew he was going to be promoted. Okay. And they don't act like he came in blind.
Okay, so he was not a true assistant. Window. He was in player development. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, he was working
training under Wade. He was training under Wade because Wade was both the coach and the GM. And he's supposed to be shadowing him, but it was always that he was going to get a front office position.
Got it.
So I don't want to think about, you knew who they was picking.
He was Dana's player development coach. So he was specifically for Dana, or did he work with other players?
I think he worked with the guards.
He worked with the guards. Okay.
But he was working with them off of an analytics program that he had developed. He had some kind of company with some proprietary software, and they were partnering with the Sky in order to develop these guards, I guess, from out the stands to some kind of elite player is supposed to be how his program, developed these guards.
So do you feel like, especially as a Chicago Sky fan, they're in the city, and y'all let me know in the chat too, I asked y'all, do y'all think the Chicago Sky front office been giving too many passes? Are they getting too many passes? Bonner is fighting with Howard from what I hear. Tony, I don't know. She was very insecure about the speed of the game, and Feverland didn't think she could keep up. Huh? I don't know. In Feverland, is that what you're saying? Let me know, Tony. Too many passes? Okay, too many passes? Yeah, I mean, let me know. If a team keeps changing coaches but never changes the culture, can it win? If the culture never changes, you just keep changing the coach and the culture stay the same, can you win?
You can't win you can't build a house with a shaky foundation. I put it to you like that. And the bottom line is, if you go back and you look at the history of this organization, the pattern from 2006 until right now, you're talking about a sustained 19, damn near 20-year period, 2 decades of this constant in and out. You can't.
Ain't you a cheapcake? I didn't see it.
I mean, it was a lot of little stuff like that a lot of people noticed and complained about. Bottom line is, they just don't. They treat you like you are property. Mm-hmm. You don't get the best of everything. You don't get, and they're not building around anything. And they notorious liars. I mean, how many times did Jeff come out? We're gonna run it through the bigs. We're trying to build this and we're trying to build that. Not one thing he opened his mouth about since the termination of Teaspoon came to fruition. Not one thing. It seems like he don't even know what he's trying to build. He just floating along. And how many general managers, NBA or WNBA, do you see out there warming up players for a game?
I don't know. I don't
I ain't
know.
never seen that.
Social media is saying trade HBL for what?
They're not gonna trade HBL. They brought her in to learn under Van Sloot.
What are they mad at HBL about? Angel wasn't supposed to be played like she did her first year as a number 7 pick. She made too much noise and too much impact on the sky and the teaspoon. Who else was they gonna play? Too many passes with a bad rep. Cheap owners never built the practice facility, so they pretty much have to travel to a rec center and stay at a hotel nearby for practice. That ain't gonna work. I don't know what you trade HBL for. I don't know what you trade HBL for. HBL ain't a point guard, but HBL can help y'all if y'all let her be HBL. She showed y'all that.
Yeah.
She's not the answer at starting point guard for y'all, but she can help. But let's get into the mess. With somebody, we gotta call it like it is. Angel Reese ain't asked to be your franchise savior, your locker room lifeline, your scapegoat, but somehow they got her playing all 3 roles at one time. They mad she ain't still trying. Look, she took steps into one of the most unstable franchises in the dub, started stacking up double-doubles like a 9-to-5 hustle, and she catching the blame when the sky falls short, but Angel been steady. Numbers consistent, boards on lock. She outworking her role, doing the dirty work every single night. Was she in a sort of a slump? Yeah, but she made herself out. Worked herself back out of that. But here come the whispers. Too flashy. Got an attitude. Distracted. But it's that blame the black girl with the mic and the marketability, the cover for the coach who ain't got the locker room or the game plan. And people peep the source. It's not just some random people tripping on X. Because Lil, they say what? Where smoke is fire. Mm-hmm. So the media is fanning it. The front office, they let it go and check. They let it go and check. It's not commentary, it's strategy. It's giving let's protect the system, not the player, and deflect instead of develop. And that should be that should make people mad. That should piss people off. Man, and it should feel familiar because it is. It's their pattern. So confident, dominant, unapologetic, turned into villains just for being visible. They don't want accountability at the top, so they toss Angel to the wolves. She's the mirror, and we got to face this reflection to fix this thing. Lil, can you break down how scapegoating works in sports, especially when it targets young black women like Reese?
Sure. AJ. Scapegoating in sports is all about deflecting. You blame the most visible person to distract from the deeper organization failure, like that raggedy roster. And then young black women like Reese are often the first ones on the chopping block because they less protected, especially when they confident and a little outspoken. And the Sky knew they were unstable. They knew they had coaching drama, front office turnover, and poor team chemistry. But instead of addressing those root issues, they let the media and the fans zero in on Reese because she loud, proud, and unapologetic. And she makes for an easy distraction from their own dysfunction. That's why I think that whole group, there might be a whole group of narcissists, as far as I'm concerned, because their dysfunction is just incredibly unbelievable. And these are supposed to be respected people. I mean, they don't just have 2 owners; they have a ownership group. It's about 7 or 8 people that have, come and invest their money, and these are some prominent people. And you look at somebody like Dwayne Wade, putting in millions of dollars, and then you don't have no say so. You're not gonna take my money and then tell me to be quiet. This is not a stock market issue. He absolutely should have some visibility. But that's scapegoating is a tried and true practice. Been going on in the media since the first article, so it's not nothing new. And the way Chicago media has done black players on every sport team they have used this technique of scapegoating them. as being the problem. You look at Justin Fields, they blame that young man for the performance, but they forgot to mention that he did not have a line, and that he was one of the most pressured and tackled quarterbacks. Why? Because you got a raggedy line because you don't want to spend no money on getting elite players, and they do that just about every team, I would say, except for the hockey team. The Hawks will spend a few dollars. They have one of the better front offices.
Oh, Taiwan Eagle. You don't want to know how I propose this guy get better. Everybody be mad at me because to me, it's like a cancer in they organization. So you gotta cut that out. And the way you cut it out, you gotta start fresh. You gotta sell that thing. You need new ownership. You need a new GM. You need a new you need a new coach. And quite frankly, because they're going to be 2 years into their careers now, you probably would have to trade both Angel and Camilla and just start fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that ain't what Chicago want to hear, but they fumbled this bag.
Yeah.
This guy suspended Cardoso while she's gone to. She'll be suspended. Her contract will be suspended while she's at America. But that's standard practice for when everybody who's gone to play over in Europe's contract is suspended, so they don't count against the cap. It's just standard WNBA business.
Mm-hmm.
Angel also re-injured her wrist and was probably forced to play instead of letting it heal. She was questionable yesterday due to a leg injury, but played anyway. Yeah, she definitely been scapegoated. It looked like her leg was bothering her a little bit. But we'll see. I'm a big Reese fan. It's unfair the position this organization has put her in. She should want out before she becomes majorly injured. Tigers trash for using her to fill in positions 1 through 5. He like whatever you can do. Sky would be at 9 players that can sign the hardship. Who do you think they should sign? The person you heard being scapegoated the most is Tyler Marsh. Oh, you ain't listening. But I ain't got time to re-explain it. But if that's what you heard, that's okay. Go with that narrative and move around. But that's because your credibility meter is on empty. If that's what you heard. Tyler Marsh is being scapegoated. Kelly or McDonald. Mo Jeff is still available. Even without Camilla. What you mean? Yeah. But what does it say about the WNBA media environment that somebody that's performing well statistically can still be the problem narrative?
You know what? It says that the system they not about the facts. They're about comfort. Angel leading in rebounds and racking up double doubles, out here doing exactly what she was drafted to do. But instead of highlighting that, the media narratives want to frame her like she's some kind of problem. And that's because she's disrupting the status quo. The media still clings to the model of what they think a respectable black athlete should be. A real quiet, deference, and just, oh Lord, I'm so grateful to be here. And she's just not, that's just not her mold. The problem with the whole media spin is everybody trying to police her behavior, police her power, and that shouldn't be. If you want to police her power, then hold the organization accountable for what they failing to do. And that's what the media doesn't do that because they want access to the organization.
Absolutely.
So they'll dance around making them accountable. They don't want to pound their head. And that's why you have to have independent media, and we don't have enough black media in Chicago to counter these narratives that these major newspapers put out on not only Reese. They have a whole study of how they have destroyed black athletes in that city, no matter what sport they played in. Whole narrative. Things go wrong. They pointing the finger at whoever the top black athlete is in that program, whether it be a male or a female. That's just how they operate in Chicago.
And credibility meter missed me with that. the reason she stopped doing the me-bound thing. The me-bound thing sounds so uninformed. It just sounds so uninformed. Did you play basketball before? I want to find out. Are you a hooper? Before because maybe it may not even be a need to. Credibility meter. Did you hoop? And then I'll ask you what you mean about the me-bound thing. I can't wait. No one cared if a starter got 10 points and 10 rebounds. 10 or 15 years ago, use a lie. I was just going to say it, use a lie. People be walking around like, man, he a walking double-double. Courtney Parrish is known as the double-double queen. How long ago did she play? Anybody, if a starter can get you, if a starter can get you 15 and 10, oh, that's a good starter. Stop playing. So the credibility meter, you hoop. I'm so glad that you hoop. Here's my question for you. The me-bound thing. So let's just you down at the basket. You shoot the ball. It's coming back down to you. But because you shot it, you should jump out the way and let somebody else get it. You shouldn't get it and put it back up. I really want to know who was your coach? Who taught you that? Who taught you that's how basketball goes? Get out the way. I shot the ball. I put it up. It didn't go in. All my shots that go up ain't gonna go in. I put it up. But when it come back down, you want me to move out the way. Don't me bound. Don't me bound. You shot that. Get out the way and let somebody else get it instead of getting it and try to go back up with it and get fouled or something like that. Please tell me who was your coach.
That's not even logical. The first thing
but you told me something about 10 to 15 years ago, and then you talking to me about Will. How long ago did Will play? How long ago did Kareem play? Come on, don't move the goalpost. Stay right where you was at, because I stayed where you was at. I didn't move from where you was at. Please put the goalpost back. 10 to 15 years ago, we wasn't talking about Will or Kareem. 10 to 15 years ago, I'll give you 15 years ago. 15 years ago, we was talking about 2010. None of them was playing. So again, like I said, for somebody to be able to say, hey, that's a walking double-double or that's a triple-double, tell me how come it's not. Who was Steve Nash if he wasn't triple-doubles? Who was David Robinson and Tim Duncan if they wasn't double-doubles? Stop playing with me. Answer my question about the me-bound thing. So when you shot, who's your coach? When you shot at it and it came back your way, somebody get it. Somebody get it. I don't want a me-bound. I don't want a me-bound. You sound crazy, man. You sound crazy. Your credibility is falling. Your credibility is just dropping. Double-doubles has always been a thing. You ain't got to tell me. Any respectable coach will tell you, box out and follow your shot. I get mad now.
You hear that in Betty ball.
Hey, look, I get mad right now because people don't box out and follow their shot. A long shot is a what? A long rebound, right? Everybody know that, right? Box out. How many times is Dawn on the sideline, literally red in the face, going, box out, box out? You boxing out so that you can get the rebound. Even if you shot it, if I shoot it, I'm boxing out. What you talking about don't even make no sense, man. How you effed around and got a triple-double? Since when did it not matter? Oh, Reggie, baby, don't bring hip-hop into it. Don't bring hip-hop into it. And then when y'all go back, and then when y'all come with the me-bound thing, y'all gonna say, most of the rebounds she get is me-bounds. But the WNBA came out in just this last game and put up a big-ass picture on the screen. I don't know if you missed it. If you didn't, go back and watch it. They put up a big-ass picture on the screen that said, if you took away these me-bound things you talking about, she's still the number 2 rebounder in the game. And her rebounds only average out to about 1.7 of her overall average rebounds. So what are you talking about? Now you want to talk about her shooting percentage. Okay, you don't want to talk. So anybody else that's talking to the credibility meter, at them, because I'm through reading the comments, because you ain't even answering my question. Who was your coach that told you to get out of the way of the rebound coming back at you and not put it back up? Because a me-bound is a bad thing. I'm still waiting on that answer. Sir, ma'am, I'll wait. I don't even know if Angel's on social media. For me to say she needs to stay off social media, I don't know if she's on social media. So I can't say she needs to stay off.
She can do what she wants. You on social media?
You said the negativity is affecting her. But do you think Angel only gets negativity on social media? Think about what it's like to walk into her job every day, being the scapegoat. That's what I'm saying. Think about that. Do you think it's social media that will really, with everything that she's been through, as thick as her as her skin is, right? You think it's social media that shake her up? No, that don't mean that she got to be on social media. Y'all act like Angel Reese don't have a team around her. Y'all don't think that Angel Reese gets up in the morning to check in and somebody to say, look, I was on socials, boom, 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 boom. This is what's happening. They saying me bound. How about we you know what? Let's flip the script on them. Let's trademark that and get some money. Hey, yeah, make that happen. Let's get the me bounds trademark. Let's get some merch going. Let's see what's going on for the podcast. I don't know what I want to do for my hair. Give me some options right there. I know I got some stuff going on with Reebok. Let me know what's my schedule today. Practice, meetings. I need to look at some products at Reebok. Who are we signing? Do y'all think she get up and just do everything her goddamn self? She's a goddamn a multi-million-dollar brand. What are y'all talking about? Y'all think Angel just sitting at home like they talking about me and talking about me and talk, bro? She laughing at them. This is why she took the me bound and flipped it on them. Every time she go to social media, she get another idea to what cash out on. She told y'all the trolls y'all eat. Man, whoever came up with the me bounce thing, y'all ate. Thank you. Cashing in on it right now. Thank you. She ain't got to get on social media to hear nothing negative. She can walk down the street. She can pick up the newspaper. She can cut the TV on. She can watch ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
And hear some negative shit. She ain't got to get on social media. All she had to do last week was open up the newspaper and read an article about her general manager talking about what she didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing her under the bus.
Creating a damn hostile work environment.
But the flip side of that is, even if she is on social media, what makes you think it's affecting her? And if most of these young people are, that's the other thing. Please, when people are like, hey, they need to get off social media, why? Their life is, they're used to, their phone has been attached to their hand for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do. This is what they do. They've been trolling. They troll better than us because they've been doing it. So when y'all say they need to get off social media, they could be checking their traps. They TikTok trap, how much money did that make today? They Facebook trap, how much did that money make today? How much money did that make today? They Instagram trap, how much money did that make today? They could also be fulfilling their requirements for the brand deals that they have with the people that they have NIL deals with. Because they got to dot certain I's and cross certain T's, and you got to have so many posts. And did you repost
so many engagements?
Did you share this? And did you download that? Yeah, they ain't making that much money on the basketball tip right now, 12th man. It ain't. Man, her rebounding, you know how I know her rebounding talent is enough to keep her in the league, Marcus? Because when they asked Asia about Angel, she said, "Oh, it's a place for Angel in this league. She got to know it for the ball. She gon' rebound around here."
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't see Angel playing no victim. Y'all the ones crying about Angel victim. Angel selling me bound t-shirts right now. I don't see her crying about a motherfucking thing.
Yeah, check the website.
I don't see her playing a victim at all. She said, "Thank you, Chet." Oh, not only is she pressure, Louis, she's motherfucking pressure. Motherfucking pressure. You hear me? Pressure. Everything that y'all said about her, she'd have flipped it. She'd have flipped it and made it likable. Angel, every place, and you know what pissed people off about Angel Lil? Angel is every place they favorite basketball player want to be. That's what they mad about. Their favorite basketball player ain't been invited. None of the places Angel going.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what they mad about. Angel's everywhere. Their favorite basketball player ain't. I don't have to worry about what people that don't know basketball say about Angel, because you know how you could tell, who Angel is. You could tell by the respect she get from the people in the league. How the vets in the league treat her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the respect that she get? No matter where she at, no matter what city she in. Yeah, the bedside coaches.
And on the top of every scouting report.
But and then why they like Angel's mad. No, what's crazy is that Angel ain't even tripping. Why they talking all that shit? Angel went and dropped 3 basketball courts in neighborhoods that needed them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Angel's brand confidence and just her unapologetic style are threatening the people used to black women being grateful instead of powerful? Is that the issue? They want her to be like, "Thank you so much, we appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, boss.
Yes. I was watching Cadillac Records. Yes, sir, boss. I was watching that today, man. And the man he was talking to Money. Money was like, I don't know, boss. I don't know. Then finally that man say, "What you doing like that for?" He said, "Well, what you want then, man? What is it that you want? See, and I can talk to you for real. You gonna see me like a person. She ain't got to walk around look people in their eye.
Mm-hmm.
She's a brand."
And Angel she don't beg for acceptance, and that's unsettling to some people. They used to black women, playing some humble underdog role. Her brand is built on being visible, vocal, and valuable, and on her own terms.
Look, at 23, she done retired her mama, bought her a house. She just bought her a mansion. She's a owner of Unrivaled. She's an owner of a soccer team. She's playing in the WNBA. She's got a multi-million-dollar brand. And the worst that y'all can say about her is she keep rebounding her own missed shot. Laugh to the bank on them. Laugh to the bank on them. The only person who had power was Etta James. No, that's not right, Dallas Chef. You forget somebody. This here my truck. He had some power. Remember? He don't owe nobody nothing. Wolf. Wolfman. Wolf. He set up and shut down anytime he want, because he don't want nothing but with your pay me what you owe me. This here my truck. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's go. She is grateful and said this. She is grateful for what she has. She is just not bound down to them. No, she's so blessed. She's so blessed. That's the thing about blessings. That's how people miss them. People block their blessings, worried about what somebody else got.
Mm-hmm.
What's for you is what for you. Is what's for you. I don't care how hard I work. I can't stop nothing that's meant for Lil. I can't, no matter how hard I hate. If it's meant for Lil, it's meant for Lil. Can't nobody hate me out of shit that's meant for me. As soon as people get an understanding about that, it'll be a lot easier around here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't nobody take what's meant for you is meant for you. Get to work at it.
They can't stand. The girl is just revolutionary, and in a system that we live in, that's a frightening thought. Last thing they want in this place, in this society, is any kind of revolution. That girl is building a blueprint, and that makes her a threat. Because suppose all these thousands of young ladies decide to follow that blueprint, then you start losing control.
Wait, they are. Look at Flau'jae.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Juju. Look at her doggo. Look at Mylasia Fawali. Look at Madison Booker. Look at Raymond Johnson. Look at
right here they come.
They coming. The problem is, James, you came in here trying to direct my conversation. I'm not having a conversation about her game only. I'm having a conversation about the politics of reputation. So when I'm having a conversation about her game only, then we can get to that. But you ain't gonna direct this conversation for me. That's not the topic. Read the room. That's not the topic. For you to be like, the problem says we don't care about what's going on with her outside life. We talking about the game only. Then you probably shouldn't be here. Move around. Thanks for stopping by, James. But that's not the conversation right now. Is Angel the blueprint for everyone that I just mentioned? That I don't know. But what I know is that Angel's blueprint is out there for all of those that I just mentioned to have a look at and tweak on their own. Right? Like Magic put a blueprint out there. And then Michael looked at that blueprint and tweaked that. But even Michael will tell you Magic is how he got to really making the money. Michael just put the face on the blueprint. He's the one that really showed him how to be a global superstar. So her blueprint is out there. Asia's blueprint is out there. Paige's blueprint is out there. These blueprints is out there. These young women are out there building brands right in our face.
And nice.
That blueprints is right there on Instagram. I follow them up. Instagram, between Instagram, TikTok, X, and whatever's going on with their school, they can figure it out. But let's pull back the curtain and talk about the real playbook, the control. And I'm not talking about no zone defense or in the quarter strategy. I'm talking about top-down, ego-driven, insecure-ass leadership that chokes the culture and runs talent out the door. Hold on. Do I got a wrench in the building? Because, James, the least you could have did was just respect the fact that ain't where the conversation is. If you want to participate in what we talking about, comment on that. Otherwise, move around. But the Chicago Sky, so we was talking about they cut the ribbon on the new practice facility, right? But what they said, that's lipstick on the dysfunction. They still got a rep for being cheap, not just with cash, but with care. No investment in people. You was talking about how they try to own them. They're so busy clinging to control and the dictatorship that I don't even think the coaches can even settle into a system before they out, right? Players don't try to resign. Ain't no free agents coming. They ghosting the calls like they don't even hit the button like send it to voicemail because you might call right back. They like just let it ring. Just let it ring. And that's not strict. That's fear. Insecure leadership scared of players with platforms, and this is going to be a problem in the WNBA. And Chicago may be the only organization that has to deal with it, but because maybe they'll figure it out. But you can't be scared of they're confident. They're confident. You can't be scared of building something bigger than them, because that's not leadership. That becomes sabotage. If you two should share the keys, you're not going to be able to build a championship squad. Now we can say right now, man, Las Vegas looks up and down, crazy, all over the place. We ain't even 500. But when you go back and you look at when we were successful, Asia looked like a partner. Asia and Becky looked like they was talking about stuff. Asia and Becky looked like they was on the same page. Asia and Becky looked like they was talking about other players on the team. It looks like there was buy-in. There was I got your back, you got my back. That's not happening here. They're not sharing the keys here. You can't dominate a league when you're intimidated by the people that make it run. And you damn sure can't build a dynasty if your foundation is fear and micromanagement. So what's the danger of an organization valuing control over the collaboration, especially in this time of the WNBA when culture is everything?
When a franchise like the Sky, when you choose control over collaboration, it creates a hostile work environment, and the players feel monitored, not supported. You know, even in the WNBA, where trust, chemistry, and culture drive success, you can't win if the leadership treat the athletes like liabilities instead of partners. And see, that kind of top-down power play, it don't impact just wins. It poisons a locker room, and then it repels very young talent that you're trying to build around. In other words, people come there, you're in your rookie contract, but you can't concentrate on nothing because you thinking about how you're going to escape. All of the nonsense. These players are different. NIL has changed the game completely. These people are coming in here with brands, with money, with status, with visibility, and they're looking for a partner. They're looking for collaboration. They're not looking to be dictated to. See, the biggest fear of these leagues, and you look at the NFL as an example, They scared these people not gonna need them. And like Stewie was saying, it ain't about whether we need the WNBA. We got a program here. We the product. We can partner. People are looking for partnership. I want to work with you. I don't want to work for you. And that's gonna go across the whole society pretty soon. When you see this empire fall,
it's already going right now.
Yeah, people tired of that. You know, we're tired of the plantation model, and these people gonna have to get off of that. You know, we're not looking to be at your mercy while you sit up there and my labor create all your wealth. Not when we can build something together. Exactly. It's called partnering.
So, you said the sky wasn't ready for what Angel brought to the table. It wasn't built from within, but from outside of the organization. It was an ego move from Jeff.
And that's what I mean by control.
Other players are watching. Yeah, other players are watching at how you are treating your star players. And for those of y'all that are talking about whether or not there's work that Angel needs to do in our game, please move around with those. Please move around with those. That is the most silliest narrative to me. There's not a player in the WNBA that don't got something they need to improve on in their game.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't one. It ain't one. So if that's what you're here for, like you banging on the table for somebody to say Angel got stuff she needs to get better at, yeah, she do. And so does your favorite player too. So what is your point? If that's all that you came here to say, please get it out the way so we can move on and have a real conversation about what it is we talking about. Because y'all going back and forth in the chat about if Angel got something to improve. Everybody do. Name one player in the league that ain't got something they need to improve on or do better at. That is the silliest, dumbest ass. That's the silliest, dumbest ass narrative. And then they keep typing it over and over and over again. Magic still has shit he had to work on. Magic had games still had to get better. Magic still hooping right now, trying to get better at basketball. You know why? Because it's his craft. Anybody that has passion about their craft is trying to do it better, faster, more efficient every time they do it. Don't disrespect Magic like that. Like he just came in and his game was perfect. Move on. Matter of fact, if I got a wrench in the chat, please get James Staten Jr. the fuck out my chat because you're not even here to have a conversation. You just here to be a nuisance, and I don't do that shit here. It's enough channels for you to go be a nuisance on. Somebody help James out. James can't find the door. James can't find the door. I'm through with James. Professional athletes will always work to get better. Steph go get better at something every year. Steph Curry go get something better at something every year. Logo 3, improve on defensive turnovers. Just saying. No more doubt. You're right. You're right. Because credibility meter need to be helped out the door with James Staten Jr., please. Reese fans are worldwide and buy her jerseys and Reebok apparel. And the other thing too is we let them we let them act like Reese don't they don't come to the arena. Okay, that's fine. They didn't come to the arena. But how many of her fans tuned in on all the streaming sites? How many of them bought League Pass because they wanted to be able to make sure that they were able to see every game that Angel played on League Pass? How many of them, because they don't live in the Chicago area, right? Because they don't live in the Chicago area, they're in Baltimore, they're in Louisiana, some in Chicago. How many of them bought those streaming subscriptions so they could watch? Credibility meter scared of what? And James Staten, you ain't told the truth yet. That's why I'm moving y'all along. I ain't scared of shit. I don't care how many people live in the Chicagoland area. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the following that Angel has. Where are they at? The following, her following, where are they located? Because her fans, some of them is in Baltimore, some of them is in Louisiana. I just told you. And Lil, you was talking about the cost of the tickets and how that changed it and how that changed the game.
Yeah, let me give you one example.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You used to get a 18 pack. They have they play 20 games at home, but I think 2 of them are special events. But you used to get an 18 pack for $270 whole season. Mm-hmm. Now that shit like $958. The doggone floor.
How many tickets you get for $958?
18.
But just one. Is that 2 for each game, or is that just one?
No, that's one ticket.
Okay, now I gotta take. I'm taking my family. How does that work?
Time 4. If you got
right,
taking 3 people,
and then we got to park. We gonna get something to eat, or we gonna bring some. I don't know how it went. I went to the Dallas game versus Sky. There was a big following at the Wings game in support of the Sky and Angel. I don't let them push that bullshit on me. I don't let them push that bullshit on me. And why do it have to just be black people coming out to support Angel? Yes, black people live in Chicago, but all Angels fans ain't black.
Yeah,
see, that's the type of ignorance that I be talking about. That's why I moved them type of people around out my chat. I ain't got time for it. It's time 6 for you, Iceman. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Reese's Pieces, East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. She's a global brand. They like, well, why ain't they at the United Center? How much do it cost to fly into Chicago and then buy the ticket and then bring my family and stay at the hotel? Like it just may not be feasible, but I done bought all of them merch. I ain't missed a game on TV. All that streaming shit count because see, y'all make y'all money off the TV deal anyway, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so stop playing with me about who in the United Center. Talk to me about who tuning in.
And then the United Center, that ain't no damn free for all. The Bulls don't own the Sky. You gotta pay to rent that shit.
Yeah, they ain't just like come on in here. Like they could have somebody else in here. So
they rent their place out.
So there's all of those things.
And when they did have a game at the United Center, even though Cece didn't play, it was still 20,000 plus up in there. And they knew she wasn't gonna play. Still came out.
Still came out. So I mean, they still coming out for her. When you think about like Marina Mabry's departure, right? That wasn't just a trade. That was a symptom, right? You had a key contributor who already sacrificed her game to fit the system, and then she left. And it's a symptom of an unhealthy locker room, but it's also just a symptom that the vibe is off at the top from the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Teresa getting fired for after one season. No runway, no vision, no stability. Short-term fixes, long-term damage. And then it's the black woman coach who's the first out the door. But what connects all of this is the opaque leadership, the controlling behavior, and a failure to recognize that culture builds reputation. It's the culture, not control. When you look at South Carolina, it's the culture of South Carolina. When you look at UConn, whether you are a Geno fan or not, it's the culture of UConn that makes UConn work. UConn people like that UConn culture. And they sign up for it. And they're okay with it. I'm flying in next week just to see Asia. My flight is over 2,000 round trip. See what I'm saying? Not you should have used Trivago. MJ, stop. Why do you think we see the same pattern of short-term thinking and power hoarding, whether it's in the WNBA, FIFA, Saudi-funded sports? Why is this what we're seeing right now?
Because sports ownership is a little bit less about competition and more about control. And that's because it came off of the plantation model. And in every one of those examples, you got people in power just trying to protect their position instead of growing the game. And that's some short-term thinking. It leads to rash decisions. You're making poor leadership choices, and then that leads to instability. The Sky, they had a foundation with Copper and Mabry and some promising rookies. But instead of building around them, they tore the thing down to reassert control. We want to get Teresa out of here. We're getting Kennedy out of here. Because those are people you can't control. It's just power being threatened. And then, so the ego and the vision, it gets sacrificed. And you wind up with just torn down organizations, still trying to hold on to the plantation model of the antebellum South. These people just they've been passed a legacy and they just will not grow up. you know, it realizes it's a different day.
I mean, Starbucks girl, locker room arguments happen. They happen. That's real. That's real talk. Locker room. Not only locker room arguments, locker room fights. They get to scrapping in the locker room. If you've been in the locker room, you know fights happen in practice, in the locker room, on the bus,
Yep.
at school the day before we get to the game, all kind of stuff. But I know I keep saying sell it, change it, rip it up, start over. And I know y'all like says that's crazy, but it's chaotic. They've been labeled cheap, chaotic, controlling. That don't just keep you from winning. That hit the bottom line. You don't get no elite players, ticket sales flatline. You're losing talent and trust. And when the trust is out the door, then it's really hard to rebuild. But look at what the Liberty did. They cleaned house. Remember, they leveled up the front office, bet on people, not just facilities. Boom, stars pulled up, free agents locked in, fans tapped back in. They got the league talking, media showing love, merch flying off the shelves. That ain't luck. That's what it looks like when leadership ain't scared to share the spotlight. Ellie might be the most famous Liberty player. Ain't shot a basket. You hear me? She might be the most famous person on the Liberty team. Yeah, we fought at practice too, Ice Man. I told you I had two teammates fighting on the sideline in the game. Each other. So yeah, I done seen it all. And, hey, they were scrapping too, to the point that the referee called timeout for us to tell the coach to get them. Yeah, like that. Because he was so into the game, he don't even know they scrapping on the sideline. Hey, coach, scrapping. But them same two, and this is what I mean about team. And this is what I say about team. And maybe women's locker rooms are different, but them same two players will bust anybody ass if you say something to either one of them. That's my teammate. I wish you would. Scrapping like straight strangers on the sideline. Say something to one of them. See, don't the other one check you, because we was teammates like that. But I digress. Now, back to the Liberty. Too many of these franchises are run by folks built on the control, and that's a whole personality archetype that insecure, power hungry, paranoid about being outshined. And that's that I did it, me. I want to shine. Look what I did. They're not trying to lead. They're trying to, I don't even know. I guess it's dominate, but trying to be the star. And they don't just end up, they don't end up in these positions. They seek out the organizations where control is rewarded over collaboration. And that's what the Chicago Sky is showing right now. Like, we would rather control people than collaborate and build, which is crazy, because look at how successful Unrivaled was. Look at what Angel was able to bring to your organization without even a collab. Look what she was able to bring to Unrivaled. Now, think about if you talk to everybody else's brands. What could Camilla bring from Brazil and China and all the places that she does? What can you get? Then you got an ecosystem that's built on low trust. They got super high turnover up there. No vision. You can't tell me what the vision is. Folks walking on eggshells. I don't know. Is it me? Is it you? Sometimes you, sometimes me. Coaches scared to build. Players looking for the exit. It's not a team. It's a survival mode. Think about that. Y'all talking about is Angel on social media? Think about that survival mode that you living in every day going to work. If that was your everyday 9 to 5, you'd be to quit that job. So when I'm saying that culture matters, when we saying that culture matters, that's exactly what we mean. You can't build a dynasty when folks is too busy protecting their ego to invest into the actual game. That's where the leadership comes in. But how do you see branding and culture intersecting with power in sports organizations? And how does bad leadership cancel out talent, in your opinion? Y'all let me know.
I think it cancels it out every time, because branding is the thing that that's the story you tell, and culture is the story that you live. And the Sky having these kind of talents and Hall of Fame players, and now having Reese and Camilla, but the leadership failed to build a cohesive culture around any of them, past or present. And so Brandon says this is either an elite franchise or this is some raggedy, and the day-to-day up at Skytown feels like chaos and mismanagement. And so that's going to cancel out even the best talent. And this is why you could see Hall of Fame. I mean, I'm telling you, 4 Hall of Fame players that they could have built around out the door. Because you hoarding, you so desperate for power that you you're killing the creativity. And after players stop,
go ahead.
After they stop trusting the process, then they tense in every press conference. And I seen a press conference for the first time ever. Two people on the side of Angel, like they gonna snatch her hand. Don't say this. Don't say that. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Culture is not no side project. It's a backbone, and bad leadership, kind of tears it down. Nobody want to be micromanaged on their job.
Yeah, Sports FN. I want to talk about your comment right here. Carter was a hothead and not picked up by any team. She's talented, but too much for any team to handle. Says who? Because I'm pushing back on that specifically because the only place that I've heard that she's a hothead is a problem is the WNBA. In China, she was goddamn the MVP or something, was she? She was over there just hooping triple doubles. I didn't hear about no problem. I didn't hear about her being no hothead. I didn't hear about her being no issue in the locker room. None of that. Then she went down to Mexico and did what? Won a chip.
Mm-hmm.
So a hothead and can't be picked up by any team. She just how? Who said?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just buy the narrative. Anybody tell you anything? If you went and investigated, have you even just sat down?
But really, but really, like just our thinking caps. Now, she acted up at the WNBA. She didn't act up when she went way over to China, where she don't even really know nobody. And then she went down to Mexico. She didn't no problems there. Well, but it's a whole lot of other stuff that's going on in the WNBA. Am I really sure that it would be her that's the problem? 2 out of 3 places she's been uber successful. Is Kennedy the problem in the WNBA? I don't know. Y'all gonna have to get at me. Y'all gonna have to get at me on that one. Y'all gonna have to get at me on that one because see, I done only heard about her being a problem in the W. And what they said she did, other people in the W did, and it's still here and had the grace and space to come back. But see, Kennedy wasn't kissing no ass.
Yeah,
Kennedy sounded like she was standing on business. Now, Kennedy may be a little rough around the edges. Kennedy may be a little bit, may be different from some coaches. That's fine. But everywhere else she went, she's been uber successful. So why am I gonna say because the W said she's a problem? She's a problem. Don't just take that narrative off her that quick. Don't put that jacket on her like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair.
And another thing,
because we're talking about reputation right now, and reputation is currency, and her reputation is good every place, everywhere else she been. Since she was put out the league and came back to the W. I'm not saying that Kennedy didn't have problems in the W before, but she served her time on that. You're not gonna keep throwing. I served my time. Then you let me back in here. I'm not gonna keep saying sorry about some shit that I already served my time on. Mm-hmm. I said sorry, I did my time. Then you had me back. You're not gonna have me. Oh, I'm my bad. Remember that one time? No. Either you forgive me and you let me back and I serve my time and we move it forward, or leave me alone. But I'm not gonna do that. And she shouldn't have to. But when you look at everywhere else she's been, reputation is currency. Her reputation in China, stellar. Her reputation in Mexico, champion. Miss me with that. I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that.
Not only that, says a lot.
DZA Digital, check your fucking facts. Check your fucking facts. See, this is the thing. When y'all come here and type shit like it's a fact, make sure that you know it's a fact, because I'm gonna ask you for the research. I'm gonna ask you for the receipt. Now, you just typed in my chat that Kennedy's her own worst enemy. She didn't even get invited to Unrivaled. Anybody tell me what happened with Kennedy with Unrivaled? I can tell you, but if anybody remembers what happened with Kennedy, somebody enlighten DZA. Because what happened with Kennedy was, and you can look it up, Google it, Kennedy got invited. Her people didn't respond in time. Do y'all remember? Tell me in the chat when I'm lying. Kennedy wanted to go. Her manager misresponded. That's why she didn't go. They wanted Kennedy in Unrivaled. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Bring your receipt. Bring your receipt. Bring your receipt. Because they asked for her. And Kennedy was like, damn, I missed it. Shoot it back. And they was like, it's too late. Don't do that. Don't do that. She signed her deal to go to China because her people missed responding to Unrivaled. Don't say that. You're putting jackets out here on people. Man, that's bullshit, man.
And you know what? They probably signed that China deal because it was more lucrative.
She didn't shoot herself in the foot. She needs better management. But did she shoot herself in the foot? She went over to China and made $1 million and won MVP. And then went to Mexico and won a chip. See, this is what I'm talking about when what's for you is what's for you. Can't nobody stop what's for you. Unrivaled wasn't for her this year. That's why it went that way. So no, she didn't get $250,000 from Unrivaled, but she made $1 million in China. She's an MVP. She moved on and went to Mexico. But everybody's so busy looking over the fence and Unrivaled. Fuck that fence. My grass green as it need to be. Because what's meant for me is meant for me.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all stop with that bullshit ass narrative. That shit is crazy, man. That shit's wild.
Then talking about she ain't playing in the league, but the reason she may not be playing in the league because she might not have wanted to play the role they wanted her to play. Like a lot of people wanted her to come off the bench. Maybe she don't want to be the spark off the bench. Maybe she wants to start. So she wasn't able to cut a deal because she betting on herself.
Man, I don't know where else y'all be on YouTube. Don't come over here without no receipts. Because especially on this show, not some other shows where it's barbershop talk. And I'm clear that it's barbershop talk. But on PoliSports, especially with all of the work and the research that Political Lil do, bring your receipts when you come in here or just watch the show. Because Lil did research upon research upon research. Understand, when I get my information for the show, it come with a goddamn appendix. Do you hear me? This is where this came from. This is where this came from. This is where this came from. Bring your receipts or just watch the show. Bring your receipts around here. Bring your receipts around here. Kennedy told us that that it was teams interesting. I don't know if Kennedy is the female Marbury. I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know all of the circumstances around how Stephon Marbury ended up in China. So I'm not putting that jacket on her. Kennedy Carter is the female Kennedy Carter, and that's good enough. She don't got to be nobody else. She's Kennedy Carter. I don't need to put an NBA name on her. She's Kennedy Carter. She's a WNBA player, a China MVP, and a Mexico champion, and a certified bucket. Yeah, I don't care if I don't know if she's Marbury. Who did Marbury end up? I ain't gonna get into that. I don't get into that. There you go. After hearing all of this, let's get ready to wrap this thing up. Where do y'all think the real rebuild needs to start? The roster, the front office. What culture do you want to see from Lil, from your hometown team, and how do we hold them accountable?
I like to see a new ownership group, because I don't think after 19 years that you can change the people that's running this. You can't change them, and they're not going to change. They have made it evidently and abundantly clear they're not going to change what they're doing, especially as long as they're making money. And I just don't think they're mentally ready for the WNBA rise, so you need to get some people in there that, not people in the organization, but the organization needs to change hands. I don't think it's any other. I think they'll continue to do the same thing they're doing as long as they're able to do it. I don't see those people changing themselves.
A councilman is one of the things I do too. And I was just telling this young man the hardest thing to do is to change a person is, I don't know. Look, any final thoughts before we get ready to wrap? I love these conversations with the new CBA and the ownership reputation for being cheap. I think they're gonna be forced to spend or sell. I'm hoping for. That's where I'm at. A sell in front office with people who aren't scared to bring this team up into the new age of women's basketball. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Let's get current. Chicago is there to simply maintain that status quo. Nothing more than that. And that's a shame with the talent that they got coming in there. Every player who played on the Sky left. They need to sell. And for those, as somebody I saw you say Kennedy got put out here, she got put out here, right? Kennedy got put out. She served her time. Then she came back. Kennedy, for all intents and purposes, for all I know, Kennedy is not in the WNBA for a behavior issue. And again, I'm gonna say once if people grow, let's say that she did fuck up. She had fight. She got put out of LA. She got put out of the dream. I got put out a lot of places too before I turned 24. I tore up a lot of shit and messed up a lot of relationships before I got to be 24, 25. But the people who allowed me to come back and say I was young, I didn't know. I know what I know now, and gave me grace to come back. I was appreciative of that second chance, and I didn't mess that up. I don't know that Kennedy messed up last year. I think that Kennedy is not in the league right now because Teresa Witherspoon is not coaching in the league right now. I don't think that coaches want to pour into Kennedy like they need to. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Did Carter say something about Reese? That's fine. Here's the thing. If they was talking mess about each other, the next time I seen them, they was talking about Ken and Barbie. What I know about locker rooms is I might not even want to talk to you today. We might have had an argument to the death, but we still teammates and we're gonna show up and do our job. I don't care if they was friends or not. I don't care if people talk shit about people that they work with every day, but they gonna still do their part of the job because they need they check. But as I said, Kennedy went everywhere else and has been uber successful. So I'm not gonna let you tell me that she can't that Kennedy is the sole problem here. What's the year that they won it all? They won it all in 2021. They was the last champion before the Aces and the New York Liberty. Jeff Kathy made a call around the league after the CC hip check. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. But that still doesn't and people still talking about like Kennedy. If Kennedy was here, like that's then they're like scapegoating Kennedy. If Kennedy didn't mess up the locker room, she would have still been here and we could have still been winning. Like, God damn, point the finger at the organization.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But here's the thing. She went to China and Mexico. You could say because she had no other option, but she was successful there. Tell me what she fucked up in China. Tell me that China said they ain't coming back. Because China was dropping her off in games in the limo. Tell me that she ain't going back to Mexico to defend her chip. Sometimes people look at like she went there because she had no other option. She went there because that was the path that God had for her to go on. See, everybody else thought that it was unrivaled or it was WNBA. The path for Kennedy was for Kennedy is where she's at. You can say that she's playing against bums, but she's cashing checks. She's cashing checks. Kennedy is fine. What's meant for her is meant for her. Y'all kill me with these bullshit ass narratives.
And stop calling foreign players bums. There's a lot of foreign players in the league burning it up.
All these bums you talking about is coming over here getting drafted first round and holding spots in the WNBA till they feel like coming over here. Them bums you talking about.
Exactly.
I don't know. You said that Kennedy. You said y'all are making assumptions that Kennedy burned some bridges. How do y'all know that somebody didn't call and say, Kennedy, we got 80,000 for you. What you want to do? And Kennedy was like, I can go to China and get $1 million. I'm gonna holler at you.
Exactly.
How do y'all know that when she came back, the teams that called and the roles that they offered, she was like, no, thank you. See, that's the thing. See, that's the thing when you control your own narrative, when you know your own worth, and when you have a plan for what it is that you want to do. I don't know a Mexican or a Chinese player. I don't know one. Kennedy Carter. That's the one I know. but crank that 2020, crank that 22. I feel for you because you're trying to shit on what's happening for her. But she happy. Kennedy signing titties in Mexico, rolling R's, throwing up MVPs in China, and you sit up here mad about what? She's not in the WNBA. She should be, but she's not. But unless Kennedy tell us that, and nobody has told us that she didn't, that she just didn't get signed. How do y'all know that what they offered, she was like, no, thank you.
Exactly.
See, when you know your worth and you stand on real business, you don't give a fuck about what nobody's saying. Cause see, here's the thing. Why you saying that you don't know a player in China or a player in Mexico? Crank that. You in here right now talking about Kennedy. Why? See what I'm saying? If she ain't none of that shit, why you even talking about her? Why is she even worthy of a conversation? Because y'all miss her in the league. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. That's the only reason y'all still talking about her, because y'all wish she was around here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it was fun. It was so fun on Kennedy around here. Ooh, it was a good time with Kennedy with her.
Probably going back watching her old games from last year.
Yeah, like, for real. That's crazy. I didn't say that she needed to be in the league. Crank that. I said she has a skill set that says she can play in this league with these players. She don't have to be in this league. I didn't say that she needed to be in this league. Matter of fact, I said for Chicago people to stop looking. She ain't coming back.
They still wish.
Here's the thing. If you really fuck with my content, then you know when Kennedy got to China, I told y'all then. I don't think Kennedy was coming back. Check my content. I said it when she got to China. Yeah, I don't even think Kennedy coming back. So there's that. But we love y'all pulling up and having these conversations with us. If you did not hit the like on the way in, please absolutely hit that like on the way out. If you ain't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Do not miss the next drop. You know what I mean? Until next time, y'all stay tuned. Talk soon.
We out.
Political Lil.